Hello, Purple Rosa here, and in this one I'll be doing Mirri's second companion quest, as I got enough report on her, and the quest finally popped up, as you can see above her head. And yeah, I now just have to talk to her and find out what she wants.
I got a letter from my father about my mother, Irene. She's gone missing. She has a habit of running off on an adventure at the drop of a hat and being gone for weeks at a time, but Dad says she's been out of touch for a while now. He's worried.
Ah, so your mother is an adventurer?
It runs in the family. Well, Mom's side. Dad's a halalu trader she partnered with for years before settling down. Mostly settling down. She'd acquire all sorts of rare items for their clients, but my father said they haven't had any commissions.
Any idea where she may have gone?
Mom neglected to mention it, I'm sure, but my father mentioned getting an angry letter from one of their old clients at the Stormhold Mages Guild, claiming she reneged on their arrangement after taking payment. Would you mind if we pay them a visit?
We get to see her family. Sure, I'll help you find your mother.
Dad's letter said that the one raising a stink was an old client of theirs named Oblivion, a member of the Stormhold Mages Guild. Let's get to Shadowfen and see just what sort of trouble Mom got herself into this time.
I take it this isn't the first time you've had to go chasing after her?
It's that obvious, eh? When Mum's in one of her flighty moods, it usually sorts itself out, but sometimes she gets so wrapped up in something it becomes an obsession. Someone has to talk some sense into her, and that someone is usually me.
Why does it always fall on you?
I got my mom's knack for adventure and my dad's level-headedness, so I'm the only one who's both crazy enough to go after her and sane enough to talk some sense into her. I also happen to be their eldest child, so it's my filial duty to the house.
Do you have a lot of family obligations?
Not so much. Our family is of little consequence, so we're free to be a bunch of impetuous miscreants chasing our own whims. If I'd been born to one of the great houses, I'd either be a pawn in their schemes or a disappointment, like Father.
Your father's a disappointment?
He's a seventh son of a seventh son in House Halalu, so he wasn't going to amount to anything without climbing over his siblings. Dad's too sweet for that. So we wound up marrying into our little house for something as unprofitable as love.
Nothing wrong with that. So, have you ever been to Stormhold?
We lived there for a good few years when I was young. It was awkward at times. Argonians don't trust dark elves, for good reason. I like to think my parents showed them different, but not everyone warmed up to us.
Yeah, a lot of hate because of the slavery. Hardly surprising that Argonians are wary of dark elves.
I know. It just ashes my hide that a few rotten fetchers ruined it for the rest of us. But that's not quite the truth. It's easy to blame it all on House Drez and the Telvanni, but they weren't the only ones keeping slaves before the Pact.
Did your family keep slaves?
No. My mom and dad never approved of it. I even had a cousin who was forced into servitude, and they helped my uncle free him at great risk to themselves. But our ancestors, I don't know.
But your ancestors' actions don't fall on you. I mean, in my mind, it's your own choices that matter. Like, you shouldn't be pinned for the choices of your ancestors. Doesn't make sense to me. That burden's on them, it's not yours.
Yeah, I suppose. I just feel foolish for taking our innocence for granted. If my ancestors weren't guiltless, I'll just have to be better than them. That's all there is to it. I can start by getting my mother to act more responsibly.
Yeah. So she lives in Stormhold. That's cool. So yeah, we'll head that way now. Will be good seeing more of her family because we've only seen her brother Liam so far. So we'll get to see her father and mother and maybe more of her siblings. Maybe we'll get to see Liam again. I hope, because I did save his life. The house is over this way. I think.
You hear the vice cannons rooted out a dominion
Sorry.
in those Daedric ruins?
Not her house, the Mages Guild.
Typical.
Okay. Talk to this disgruntled mage.
That high elf matches Murtalivian's description. Ask him if he's seen Rennie Alendis. I should probably hang back.
Oh. Do you know this elf?
Do I know you? I don't believe I do.
Did you meet with Rennie Alendis recently?
I don't see how that's any of your affair. But if you must know, I did cross paths with that unscrupulous dark elf, and I'm worse for it. What's your interest in Irene? I suppose she cheated you as well.
She cheated you?
She came to me seeking information, and given our long-standing association, I entrusted her with it on the assurance that she would do me a simple favor in return. Instead, she ran off and played me for a fool. No one makes a fool of me.
I really need to find her.
And I really need the antique inkpot she promised to procure. I'll tell you what I told Irene, but only after my inkpot is returned to me and not a moment sooner. I'll not have my good faith taken advantage of again.
Alright, you have a deal.
My inkwell is currently in the possession of a banker here in Stormhaven, the result of an ill-advised card game. They seem to enjoy lording their victory over me, so they refuse to part with it at any price. I want it returned. I don't care how.
Why is this inkwell worth so much trouble to you?
It's one of a kind. The first work of the current Sapiarch of Shape and Form when they were still a student. Irreplaceable. I never thought an Argonian would beat me at the cards, but the banker has more of a head for numbers than I expected.
If it was so important to you, why did you wager it?
I didn't. I just got so thoroughly thrashed at the table that I needed to offer collateral. Underroot must have known what a singular treasure it is. Now that she has it in her greedy claws, she'll never let it go. Willingly, anyway.
Well, that's your fault for offering it up as collateral.
I caught the gist of that. That Sweat actually wanted my mom to rob a bank. I'm glad she had enough sense not to go through with it. Unless the reason we haven't heard from her is because she's in jail. No, she wouldn't.
You don't sound so sure.
I mean, adventuring can be dirty business. My family is nothing but a bunch of no-good tomb robbers, depending on who you ask. But there's a big difference between digging through old ruins for treasure and outright stealing.
Yeah? So do you think she might really be in jail?
No. If that were the case, she'd have written my father to pay her bounty. And while he should let her sit and learn her lesson, he's too much of a softie. She probably ran off like Mert said. So now it's us who have to get our hands dirty.
Maybe not. We'll figure something out.
Let's hope so. But if we do wind up breaking the law, I could have a worse partner in crime. You're a good friend.
Pay the bank a visit.
I can't believe I have to steal from a bank for my own fetching mother. This is why no one takes our house seriously.
Maybe I can talk to this Argonian peacefully rather than steal outright from a bank. But yeah, I do wonder if we will see her father.
I just got word. I'm an uncle. An uncle!
Congrats on being an uncle. Random person.
Act casual, just two people admiring the decorations. Oh, this is such a nice bank, isn't it? Oh, such refined taste.
That's a bit too much, Mirri.
Barge in, why don't you? It's not like I'm trying to work. This is a private office. Well, as private as an office could be that has no door or walls and barely fits a desk. I used to work in a much larger bank.
Just admiring the decor.
Of course you are. Let me guess. Mirtulavon's still trying to get his antique inkwell back. I swear, ever since Underroot won that cursed thing, it's been one bother after another. I suppose it makes a nice distraction from the tedium.
Your gold makes a pleasant distraction. Maybe you could count yours somewhere else.
Not much of a windfall, but I suppose it'll take me a moment or two to update my ledger. I'm sure you can see yourself out. I'll just be over here counting my gold.
Sure. Could have stolen it, but... Let's go.
Got it? Let's not overstay our welcome.
The bribe won't last long. Okay, back to the stupid high elf who gambled it away. Tell me where she is.
Dare I ask, is the deed done? Is my little treasure to be returned to me at last?
Here it is.
Do you have any idea how rare it is for a creation this ugly to survive on Somerset? Let alone one made by the premier authority on sculpture? I even had the original assignment's written grade. Barely satisfactory. It's priceless.
Well, first attempt isn't always good. You practice and you get better. So tell me about your meeting with Irene.
At least Irene had an appreciation for rarities. I sent her to meet another antiquity hunter I deal with who made a discovery in Stone Falls that Irene would be interested in. Too interested.
Did you send her to meet?
Edvilda Stonestalker. She was probing my interest in Dwemer relics. I've no interest in it, but I knew Irene has an unhealthy interest in them. She was camped near Steamfont, last I heard. That's all I can tell you, so our business is concluded.
Thanks. Okay. So, mother's obsession. So, did he say I have to go to Stone Falls? I think that's what he said. Let's go over there. So if her mother went to a Dwemer ruin, she might be trapped inside. Hopefully she's still alive. Gotta meet this antique dealer or whatever he said.
Is this Edvilda? Someone killed her! Let's search the camp.
That sucks. So she was camping above. Homemade scarf?
Mom's scarf! Liam gave that to her last new life when she was headed to Skyrim for the Snow Bear plunge. She wouldn't have left it.
She's still alive? Better stay out of the rift for a bit. Not that I did anything wrong, but some Nords are so touchy about old shrines and barrows. Still, the small figural pieces I managed to scavenge will fetch a pretty price for the right collectors. One tiny mammoth figure, ivory carved. Two tinier mammoth figures, also carved ivory. Bit ironic when I think about it. One small bear. Figure could be a skeever for all I know. The wood's been gnawed badly. To drog her teeth? I don't want to stay in Stone Falls too long. Smells like the armpit of Mehrunes Dagon. Or at least how I imagine Dagon's armpit would smell. But this steamfont place seems safe enough for a camp. As far as dwarven ruins go. I wanted to try my luck scavenging at the Inner Sea Armature, but I heard that there are bandits hiding there now. I should be far enough away that they won't bother me, but damn it if that isn't my luck. That map I bought from Mirri is already paying off. No big scores yet, but I found some old pottery I can sell to a historian. Small vase, unusual markings. First error maybe? We'll need to research. Have a couple of buyers who would like this sort of thing. Make up something if I have to. Change my mind. This map hasn't led me to anything worth half what I paid for it. Think I'm going to do some snooping around the armature after all. Bandits won't miss any old dwarven junk. Damn it, there's a ton of bandits down that sodding hole. Helped myself to some of their rations, but I couldn't risk poking around. Orky take you, Mert. If I hadn't spent my last gold on your map, I could catch a ferry somewhere out of this ash pit, anywhere. Remembered Mert used to work with a dark elf who was keen on dwarven junk. Said she'd pay a small fortune for leads on a dwarven puzzle box. Going to get Mert to send her my way and put some gold in my pocket. If she happens to clear out those bandits, all the better for me.
Did Edvilda write down anything important?
Your mum went into some dwarven ruin.
Mom was definitely here. She had to have gone in a hurry if she left this scarf behind. Did Edvilda write down anything that would clue us in on where my mother's gone?
Looks like Edvilda was trying to sell your mother false information about a puzzle box.
Oh, not that fetching thing again. Mom. She's been chasing after my grandfather's Dwemer puzzle box for decades. Ever since the old Mer joined our ancestors at the tomb. It's her obsession. Don't tell me they got into a fight over it.
Edvilda planned to send Irani to the Inner Sea Armature, which is full of bandits.
Great. Just great. So the shifty Nord met my mother out here and ran afoul of bandits? That explains what happened to Edvilda, but Mom's not here, thank feck. But if she'd escaped, we'd have heard from her, right? They must have taken her captive.
And let's head to the Inner Sea Armature and look for her.
I've never been to the Inner Sea Armature. It must not be too far from Edvilda's camp. 3. I hope Mum's all right.
You'll be fine. So, that's just over that way. I've been in there ages ago. When my character was still young. Where's the entrance? But yeah, seasoned adventurer now.
Dwarven pipes! By that cave! This looks promising.
Yeah. Find your mother. Be stealthy about it. Yeah, this ruin's not that big. It's one of the older delves. Okay. She's gotta be here somewhere. Find her, Mirri, don't worry. Is that her? Come at me! Looking?
What did... Mom, do you have any fetching idea
Mirri,
how worried
am I glad to see
Wait,
you, Scrib.
are you
Get me
cooking?
out of these shackles.
He's cooking for them. What? So this is your mum.
Don't mind Mirri. She takes too much after her father. I've been dying to finally meet the person my daughter's been adventuring with. Though I hadn't planned on being chained up like a common criminal upon our first meeting.
You don't really look alike. So how did you wind up like this?
I was negotiating a lead from a contact I met out by Steamfont, and talks got a little heated. She was trying to take me for a ride, I could tell, and we must have caught the attention of these feckless swits. They tried to rob us.
Is that how Edvilda died?
She tried to make a run for it, and they cut her down without a second thought. Figured I'd take my chances with another approach. Offered to be their cook if they spared my life. Fortunately, they aren't picky. I was beginning to run out of recipes.
We shouldn't linger here.
No, I suppose not. Won't be long before one of these fools gets bored or hungry and comes to swipe something from the pantry. You've done a fine job looking after Mirri, so I'll follow your lead. But don't think we're done talking.
Sure, let's go.
Can we please just get out of here now?
Yeah, Mirri? Don't really look alike. Like, the hair color's kind of the same. Okay, let's get out of here. Then we can talk.
Don't think you're free and clear just because we escaped the bandits. What were you thinking?
Oh, come now, Mirri. I've been doing this since before you were in diapers.
And you're not getting any younger. We almost lost Liam, and you nearly lost this. Would you trade it for that stupid puzzle box?
Liam's scarf. Mirri, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I worried you all. It's just... I'll let it go.
We love you, Mom. We're your family. Go home.
Aww. What's special about this dwarven puzzle box that she would risk her own life looking for it?
I know it probably seems like I'm being harsh, but Mum's been at this more times than I can count. She promises to give up on it, but then she catches some whiff of a lead about that damn box and she's off like a race squaw.
At least she's alright.
This time, death was the only thing that stopped my grandfather from chasing after that stupid trinket. I don't want it to be the same for her. You can only keep rolling the dice in this life for so long.
Yeah. I doubt she'll give it up this time, though. Do you really think she'll give it up?
I hope so. Probably not. But I've weighed her down with enough guilt to hold her for a little while, at least. Either way, sorry for dragging you into my family drama.
No, no problem. Should we make sure your mother returns home safely?
Are you kidding? If I don't get you out of here, she'll make you meet the entire extended family. Davin's watch is just down the road. She can make her way home from there. Thank you for putting up with all this. I'll make it up to you.
But I'd love to meet your entire family. What's this? It contains a couple of treasure maps that Mirri thought you might enjoy. Ah, thanks.
Change of plans?
No change of plans.
Well, this little misadventure wasn't a total wash. I did finally get to meet you. Don't be a stranger now. I'll expect Mirri to bring you by for tea and biscuits. Her father has a sauce for the best scrib jelly in Mournhold.
I'll drop by when I can. So, that's her second quest done. There is a third one, but I obviously haven't got enough report yet to unlock that, so yeah, I'm gonna end this one here and we'll continue questing in the next one. Thanks for watching.